There we go.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so. So today we are going over our common language common we took last week, and I just wanted to go over our the areas that we need to improve in, and what the next steps are for moving forward for our kids. Looking at the data, it looked pretty difficult because our kids are struggling all across the board. We did have some of our classes that performed higher than others, but it was still we were still struggling. So here is what we were going over. We went over language overall, which is the grammar and the conventions, language standard, and we had 72% overall that took the data, and then for grammar it was about 59%, and for convention it was 72%. We're gonna go into deep about what that means. So our grammar usage, to breaking it down, was 59%, and only 5% exceeded, meaning that few students mastered the grammar test. Only 5% guys passed the test out of all of us here. So we had a large number of below grade expectations, and only 20% were approaching, which is 1/5 of our second grade class. So what do you think about that? What do you guys say? Looking at the data,
Of course, we need to spend more time going over language and expecting it, especially in their writing, so they can see it more often.
Yes, I like that too.
Revisit.
Revisit.
Maybe in small groups you can reteach it, and when they write, like in your small groups, you can enforce those commas and stuff like that.
So here's I didn't put everybody's class on there, I just wanted to highlight the fact that we had the highest class performance was 70%, and the lowest class was with 48%, a 22% of performance gap between the classes. So I did look at the other data, and some were at 50, but 70 was a huge gap from where the other classes fell, which is around 50s. There were 2 48s, so I don't know. There's something different that people are doing than others. If you guys want to share what you're doing that's making it, your class score higher in it than others, you can help and let us know what you're doing in your classroom that could help us. Miss Dr. England? Yes, your class had the highest average.
Well, we use a free writing journal most mornings when they come in for morning work. And sometimes I give them a prompt, sometimes I don't. They just choose what they want to write about. And then I'll call them over, or I'll walk over to them and I'll read, and I'll make marks with a little Sharpie and say, you're missing your capital letter, you're missing a punctuation mark. And then I let them know the next time they write in their journal, I should not be seeing the same mistakes again, because I actually have a mini conference with them.
So that is good. I like that. So every morning they have a journal that they come. That's their morning work.
Most mornings, I would say 2 to 3 mornings out of the week.
I like that.
But then where you see the struggle are the ones who come in much later
Yeah.
than morning
Sure.
time work, so they don't really get the advantage of doing that immediate practice.
And I like the fact that you get to give immediate feedbacks to help them make better. It's okay. So our top priority areas are, we need to focus on speaking and writing conventions. We need to use punctuations, which means sentence level mechanics, and we need to work on our spelling patterns to help our kids with the that are struggling. How do we help with moving forward, the next level. We need to assess more frequently, like every week, we give something and we assess more. We need to, collaborate on seeing like Ms. Dr. England just said, what she's doing in her classroom that's working for her. We need to see what works for, what can work for us, and implement those in our classroom too, because it might benefit our kids. We need to also record our meetings and our decisions that when we make them so that we can be effective. Can you pause that for me, please? I think they're looking for me.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. So, document what we're doing so that we can, make common, assessments to help our second graders, all achieve at the same time, and so we're not leaving anyone behind. Also, we need to focus on daily grammar practice. What was said, like the 2-3 days, I like that, so moving forward, I wanna do that also. And make the activities short, so that they're not bored, and interactive, something that they can put their hands on, so they're not getting bored. And I like the feedback, the verbal application that, we are given, and we're also tracking everything they're doing. I like that if it's in the notebook, then we know, we can look to see, hey, did you make progress or did you not? And also how to apply grammar and when we're writing, make sure that we're looking at their writings to make sure that they are, fixing their grammar as they go. Any questions? No. Our next steps. We need to finalize our target skills. Basically, in the beginning of the year, I think that we should talk about the weak areas of second grade and try to focus more on meeting those targets throughout the year, because we already know what's the issue. At this point, we don't have a lot of other time left. So we need to look forward to the next year. And so we know that the grammar is low across the board, and maybe we can hit that early next year so that we can see a difference in their writing next year. You guys have any next steps that you are thinking about doing or that we can implement in our classrooms?
I like what Dr. England said with the morning work, probably just implementing that and then going around and having those conferences with them. I think that's a good way to implement the grammar.
Adding it as a section in homework as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that too.
So maybe having more computer assessments like that, because they can do it on paper, but seeing a lot of choices that look similar, that could have also affected them somewhat, because a lot of times they're doing it on paper, but seeing that on a computer, they may not notice those little things or things they think are little.
I like that you said the computer. I also agree with that because when they're in a computer and they're typing, they get to see the red lines and the blue lines, and they're like, and they know how to, go and check it. Although they're not really checking to understand why it was underlined sometimes, I feel like they just check how, let me just fix that one.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I like that, at least they know that there's issues with the writing and we need to fix it. So I like the computer thing too. But I don't know if that's something we can do early on next year. Because you never know, it's better to get them started early. Anything else that you guys, any skills we should implement to help close the gap? No? So, thank you for helping me out. I'm done. It was, how long was